These are the empty claims of an unwise man. He cannot call himself his own. How can he then claim children and wealth as his own? To the extent that a fool knows his foolishness, he may be deemed wise. A fool who considers himself wise is indeed a fool. A fool may associate with a wise man throughout his life and remain untouched by his wisdom, even as a spoon cannot taste the flavor of soup. On the other hand, an aware man, in a moment's meeting, can learn from a wise man, even as the tongue tastes the flavor of soup. The unwise man, lacking understanding, behaves as if he were his own worst enemy, committing evil deeds that produce bitter fruit. It is unwise to do things that bring regret and require repentance, to cause suffering for oneself and a weeping and tearful face. It is wise to do things which do not require repentance, but bring joy and fulfillment, happiness and delight, until he feels the effect. The fool rejoices in his evil deed. When the action reaches fruition, the fool harvests nothing but grief. While the fool may practice asceticism, eating a speck of food on the tip of a blade of grass, he is not worth 1/16 of the Arahant, knower of the Dhamma. An evil deed does not produce its results at once. It smolders slowly, like a fire covered by ashes, and finally consumes its doer, the fool. The things a fool gains amount to nothing. Unwholesome acts cannot bring him wholesome results. What a fool hungers for is false fame, authority, power over others, and generous offerings. He seeks recognition as a doer, a wielder of power, a knower of right and wrong. His craving and pride are insatiable. In the original text, this verse reads, "An evil deed, like milk freshly drawn from the udder, does not produce its results at once." When the Dhammapada was compiled, this metaphor would have been relevant to those familiar with the problem of keeping milk fresh in a hot climate without the aid of refrigeration. To the modern reader, this metaphor of spoiled milk may appear confusing, thus we have omitted it for the sake of clarity and ease in the reading the text. There is a path that leads to worldly gain, another road leads to nirvana. Let the seeker, the disciple of Buddha, embracing seclusion, take the path to wisdom and enlightenment. Chapter 6, The Wise. If someone sees an intelligent person who is skillfully able to point out shortcomings and give suitable reproof, let him cherish such a revealer of hidden treasures. Only good can come from such an association. Let the wise one guide, correct, and deter others from what is base and vile. He will be treasured by the good and spurned by evil. Do not choose bad friends. Do not choose persons of low habits. Select good friends. Be discriminating. Choose the best. Whoever drinks deeply of Dhamma lives happily, with a peaceful mind. The wise man rejoices in the Dhamma, taught by the holy ones. Irrigators contain the flowing waters. Arrowsmiths fashion arrows. Carpenters shape wood to their design. Wise men mold their characters. As a solid rock stands firm in the wind, even so is a wise man unmoved by praise or blame. As a deep lake remains still and clear, so do wise men, listening to the teachings, attain a serene mind. The good certainly cling to nothing. They do not talk aimlessly, concerned with personal gains. The wise, the saintly, whether experiencing comfort or discomfort, show neither elation nor depression. Not for one's own or another's gain should one commit an evil deed, regardless of the desire for children, wealth, or kingdom, or any other kind of success. One should remain virtuous, wise, and righteous. The few cross over to the far shore. The many merely run back and forth fruitlessly along the side of the stream. But only those who follow the carefully taught law can cross to the other shore, beyond the grasp of death, so hard to overcome. Let the wise man shun the cauldron of confusion and proceed on the path of light. Let him leave the comfort of home, forsaking sensual pleasures, freeing himself from all obstacles, delighting in seclusion, not an ordinary man's choice, and devote himself to cleansing the blemishes of the mind. Those who have carefully cultivated their minds, in tune with the elements of enlightenment, who without grasping, delight in detachment, cleansed of all corruption and therefore shining brightly, send forth brilliant light. The Arahant. There is no burning for him who has completed the journey, who is free of sorrows and all else, who has broken off all chains. The mindful put forth great effort. They do not remain content in the household life, but leave their homes behind, just as swans leave a muddy lake. Arahants do not hoard. They take a right view of eating, focused on deliverance and void. They leave no trace, like the path of birds in the sky. He who is free from obsessions, eating simply, clear-headed, focused on liberation, like a migrating bird, leaves no trace of a track in the sky. Even the gods delight in the presence of one who has freed himself from pride and mental obsessions, who has his senses under control, like horses trained by an expert trainer. Done with the round of rebirths, he is as accepting as the earth, as firm as a doorpost, placid as a pond free of mud and dutiful. Whoever has reached a state of freedom through perfect wisdom, peaceful and unshakable, is nonviolent in his mind, his speech is action. Whoever is in touch with the infinite, free of detachment, desireless, is the highest among men. Delightful is the place where the saints dwell, be it village or forest, cavern or open field. Delightful are forests, where more worldly men find no joy. Being free of the pull of desire, saints who seek no worldly pleasures find delight in such places. Chapter 8, Thousands. A single wise word, bringing peace to the listener, is worth more than 1,000 speeches full of empty words. A single verse full of meaning, bringing peace to the listener, is worth more than 1,000 verses full of empty words. One may recite 100 verses full of vain descriptions, but a single verse bringing peace to the listener is worth far more. One may conquer 1,000,000 men in a single battle. However, the greatest and best warrior conquers himself. Conquest of oneself is the greatest victory of all. Neither a god, nor a heavenly musician, nor a mischievous angel of the highest of the 6 heavenly abodes, the Paranimita heaven, where sensual pleasures prevail, can deprive the self-vanquished, restrained person of victory. The honor paid to the one who has achieved self-mastery for one single instant is worth more than monthly offerings of 1,000 pieces of gold. Honoring the one who has achieved self-mastery for one single instant is worth more than living in the forest, tending the sacred fire for 100 years. Making offerings for glory and recognition is not 1/4 as worthy as honoring the upright. Whoever shows reverence and respect for the aged is rewarded fourfold with long life, beauty, happiness, and strength. Even a single day lived virtuously and meditatively is worth more than 100 years lived wantonly and without discipline. A single day's life of a wise and contemplative man is worth more than 100 years lived wantonly and without discipline. A single day's life of a wise and contemplative man is worth more than 100 years lived wantonly and without discipline. A single day's life of one who puts out great effort is better than a life of 100 years lived in idleness and sluggishness. A single day's life lived by a man who grasps the impermanence of all conditioned things is worth more than 100 years lived in blindness and ignorance. A single day's life of one who sees the deathless state is worth more than 100 years lived without perceiving it. A single day's life of one who sees the truth is worth more than 100 years of not seeing the truth. Evil. Chapter 9. Do not lose a moment of doing good. Protect your mind from evil. Whoever neglects doing good is inviting addiction to evil. If a man has mistakenly committed an evil deed, let him not repeat it. Let him not be addicted to evil. For it is the amassing of evil that brings misery. On the other hand, if a man does good, let him do it repeatedly. Let him put his heart into it. For the accumulation of good brings blessings. Even an evildoer feels happy before his negative actions reach fruition. However, when the evil ripens, he will have a bountiful harvest of evil results. A good man sees what is unwholesome before his good deeds reach fruition. However, when the good ripens, he will have a bountiful harvest of good results. Don't underestimate evil, saying it can't happen to me. As a pot slowly fills up with water, drop by drop. So does the fool little by little become full of evil. Don't underestimate good. Saying it can't happen to me. Water falling drop by drop will fill even a large pot. Likewise, the wise man accumulating good little by little becomes goodness itself. One should shun all evil. As a merchant with treasure and a small caravan avoids a dangerous road, or as a man loving life shuns poison. If a man has a hand free of wounds, he can take poison in his hand. Poison cannot penetrate the hand that is free of wounds. Likewise, a man is not guilty when he acts with no evil intention. If someone harms an innocent person, one pure and free of guilt, evil results will fall upon the doer, like fine dust thrown against the wind. Some are reborn in a mother's womb. The evildoers are bound to miserable states. The doers of good are reborn to happy states. Those free of any stain go on to perfect peace. There is no place in the world, neither the sky, the sea, nor in mountain crevices, where an evildoer can hide, safe from the consequences of his action. There is no place in the world, either in the sky, the sea, nor in mountain crevices where one can escape the inevitability of death. Okay, this is chapter 10. This is the last reading from the Dhammapada. I hope you're enjoying it. This is candidate John Kitover, running for the 16th district to liberate the voters and constituents against the evil deeds of Darren, the Hood Rat. Chapter 10, the Rod. Everybody fears being struck by a rod. Everybody fears death. Therefore, knowing this, feeling for others as for yourself, do not kill others or cause others to kill. Everybody fears being struck by a rod. Life being dear to all. Therefore, knowing this, feeling for others as for yourself, do not kill others or cause others to kill. If one, pursuing happiness, strikes living beings who also strive to live happily with a rod or other instrument, he will reap an unwholesome harvest. If one pursues his own happiness while causing no harm to other living beings who also strive to live happily, he will reap a wholesome harvest. Avoid harsh speech. Angry words backfire upon the speaker. By making yourself as still as a cracked cymbal, not retaliating, you achieve nirvana. As a cowherd leads the cattle to pasture, so do old age and death drive the life of all beings. The fool, committing evil deeds, realizes not their nature. The fool, due to his evil deeds, suffers as if scorched by fire. He who inflicts pain on the innocent comes to one of 10 calamities: pain, loss, injury, illness, insanity, danger from rulers, frightening accusations, loss of loved ones, loss of wealth. One of these will he experience. A fire will destroy his house. After the destruction of his body, the same foolish man will go to an unhappy state. Though he does penance through nakedness, with tangled hair covering his body with mud, fasting, rubbing himself with ash, and crouching in a posture of humility. None of these rites can purify a man who has not freed himself of doubt, regardless of attire or adornment. The guiltless one, calm, self-restrained, chaste, and resolute, refraining totally from hurting living beings, is the Brahmin, the recluse, the monk. It is the rare being who is restrained by self-direction, who does not invite reproof, as a good horse does not invite the whip. Be like a good horse, touched gently by the whip. The horse moves forward with full power and energy. Have an abundance of confidence, good conduct, effort, concentration. Be aware and attentive. Put aside this great mass of suffering. Those who would irrigate the land, bring the water wherever they choose. Arrowsmiths fashion arrows, carpenters shape wood. The virtuous mold themselves. Okay, found it. The credit card, money. So if you don't offer larger lines of credit, you have less defaults.
Oh, yeah. So
your risk.
Apparently, they said it would kill some of these businesses. They're worried about it, like, really destroying, like a 10%. 10%. What do you think, David? Is this, are y'all having panic? I bet there's some serious meetings going on right now. And this pullback we're seeing in COF, Capital One Financial, is enormous.
Yeah, I mean, all the credit card companies are down. Capital One's down the most because we're the biggest that's focused on the low end of the market. I mean, we do the high end now also, but that's a small portion of our total business.
I wonder what the charge off, like, I wonder what the net would be